Hello and welcome to another instalment of Life Skills with Mrs. T. Tonight I'm keeping it simple and I'm looking at a hand stitch technique called the slip stitch. I'm not the biggest fan of hand sewing. I'll always use my sewing machine where possible. I think it comes in line with things like knitting. It takes that bit longer and it requires a bit more patience. And so sometimes I can struggle with that time element, that it just takes that bit longer to do. But it's much easier, if you just want to pick something up and fix it, it's much easier to use a hand stitch than it is to get your sewing machine out. So I recently sewed 47 badges onto a camp blanket for a customer, which has definitely helped improve my hand stitching skills and improved my patience in doing the hand stitching. So tonight I'm going to look at how to hem a trouser leg. So a few weeks ago we looked at how to hem a trouser leg looking at using the sewing machine. But tonight I'm going to look at how we do it with the hand stitch called the slip stitch. So first things first, we need to get our equipment together. So I've got a needle and thread. It's a different colour thread to the colour of the trousers, but I kind of want to demonstrate so it's easier with a lighter colour thread. I've already covered that in my beeswax and that just helps prevent knotting. And then I've just got my snips. So it's a lot less equipment needed when it comes to hand stitching. So what you want to do is get your trouser leg, turn it inside out, and then obviously look at where the natural fold and hem would be. I'm going to start this side, there's the gap. And what I want to do is just pull my needle through onto the upper side of the fabric, so I'm not pulling it through both. Nice and gentle so the knot holds. And then what I want to do is I just want to catch the underside fabric, because obviously anything you catch on this part of the fabric will be shown on this side of the trouser. So I'm just going to do a really small stitch, just like so, and then I'm going back into the top side of the fabric. And then I'll just do a stitch on this side, so I'm just pulling it through here. Again, just going to do a small stitch through there, and then I'm going to push back through, pull that through, and I'm going to do that again, just repeat. So go do a stitch there, pull that through, just do a small stitch on this side, come through to that side and pull. So if you can see here, we've got a long stitch on the underside of the fabric, but on the other side there should be, so that one was quite a big one, so I would be doing that smaller, but as you can see that one's a bit smaller. So I'll do that again. So a long stitch on the top side, and then you just want to catch as small amount as possible, pull that through, come through to the top side, and then if you can see there, that's a much smaller stitch. Now obviously if you were to use the same colour thread, and ideally you should do that in a straight line. I haven't done it in the best straight line there, have I? But ideally you would just follow the line of the hem and do that in a straight line. And if you've got the right colour thread, that will match into the trouser and you will barely see that. So it's obviously a much quicker way of doing it and less equipment than if you grab a sewing machine. And then to finish you would just do a couple of knots into the top side of the fabric so that it's not going to show up underneath, and then just snip. That's a really nice and simple way to hem your trousers. You can do that quite quickly. It's like a half an hour's job in the evening. Grab your equipment, something good on the telly. I'm always a fan of hand stitching and watching the telly. So that's the tutorial for today's vlog. If you do have any questions or comments, then please do leave them on my Facebook page. And if you've got any topics that you would like to see, then again, leave them on my Facebook page and I will do a vlog when able. Take care.